Hello, thank you for joining me, and I want to continue with this interesting topic about spirits. If you watched my previous video, I'm really grateful for the support, and continue liking and commenting and subscribing. So spirits, like I said, are not necessarily bad things. Most have nothing to do with you. Some are part of your caravan, like a presidential escort. When you move around, you move with your spirits. That is why someone who is of good deeds, they feel secure wherever they go because they know they have protection. While someone who is of wicked deeds, most of them, they move around in fear because the sort of protection they have is not trustful. And that said, I want to focus on problematic spirits because there are good spirits and there are bad spirits, but the ones that often concern us the most are problematic spirits, like the ones that listen to your exciting news and then go in their way to spoil it, or the ones that wake you up in the middle of the night, scared stiff, and you can tell that whatever you encountered in your dreams is not something that is normal, or you can feel some presence around. Or also the spirits that affect us daily, they want to take advantage of our naivety and cause confusion and torture us simply for their amusement. It's more like they put you in a prison or a circus, and they put obstacles in your way, just making sure that you topple over and over so that you don't progress spiritually. And if you're not careful and continue living in ignorance, then for the most part of your life, you'll just be stagnant. These are called gatekeepers. I will do a video about spiritual gatekeepers. They are simply guardians of the other realms, but they are low vibrational. Their work is to simply make it difficult for you to cross over to the other side. It's more like an examination, all right? Before you can access the other realms, you'll have to pass this examination and prove your worth. Now, moving on to something exciting, let's get into how you know the presence of a spirit in your environment or in your life. So spirits, like I've said, they're around you. And some spirits invade your life temporarily for some few days. On some days, I think you've woken up feeling like you are not yourself, or someone that you know, you look at them and you can tell that this is not exactly the same person that I know. And other spirits are attached to your life, that is almost permanently for the most part of your life, either from your lineage. Sometimes they're attached to you based on your karma, all right? Or they were attached to you at birth, and for the most part, they are going to be part of your life. So let me start with how you feel or know there is a presence or a spirit in your environment. Mostly, you will see patterns. Some things will occur. For example, you feel depressed, but you can't point a reason why. But when you look around, you can feel a presence. And like I said, spirits are a vibration, and they are subtle, but a bit more dense than angels. And so at night, when it's cool and calm, if you want to know the presence of a spirit around, for example, you've woken up from a horror dream, you might feel cold air brushing you. That might indicate the presence of a spirit that is in a calm environment, not during the day, all right? Or you might smell something, and it's not something that is within that environment. Or sometimes you wake up from a horror dream and you feel like vomiting. Or sometimes, for example, you can't find sleep in the middle of the night, and all of a sudden it's more like you're feeling hot, or a blocked nose, all right? You didn't have these symptoms of a flu, and then you wake up in the middle of the night, you can't sleep, and then it's more like something is just distracting your peace. Those could be indicators that there is a presence of a spirit around. Some of these spirits, they just want to torture us for their amusement, like I've said, and their biggest tool is fear. If you experience that something is not normal in your surrounding, don't give in to fear. Because if you give in to fear, it's more like you're letting the enemy win. So don't cry. If you wake up in the middle of the night and you feel scared, don't cry. And just know that nothing can ever happen without your consent. As long as you ignore spirits, I'm going to get onto the next section about how to protect yourself from the influence of spirit. If you are sensitive, sometimes you might see shadows flickering around, and it might indicate the presence of spirits or a spirit hanging around. Or sometimes you might hear something falling or something knocking on the door. It's like someone has thrown a small rock, and you're just having your peace, and you have these small distractions. that are not normal. So those might be indicators that there is a spirit around, especially if it's combined with other signs that affect you directly. Like, for example, you're feeling depressed and anxiety. And to know the presence of a spirit attached to your life, you will again see patterns, recurring patterns in different areas of your life. For example, wherever you go, it seems like you have some sort of rejection, all right? Or regularly, when you're pursuing some opportunities, they just seem to slip off your hands, and it's a pattern that has been going on through your life. Some people have spirits in that wherever they go, for example, they can't avoid picking something from someone, all right? I mean stealing. Another manifestation of a spirit attached to your life could also be a physical deformity. Now, don't get me wrong, it does not mean that if you have any form of deformity, it's necessarily because of a spirit. But some spirits could cause a physical deformity in a person. For example, that all of a sudden they develop certain complications, and then it becomes a deformity or a disability. Even something as minor as a twisted mouth, all right, you are just normal, and then this sort of influence just comes to you, for example, to walk in a certain way, and you can't just avoid it, but it's because it's an energy, and spirits can do this to you. That is a spirit that is stuck inside you. Now, have you ever seen some people who are not in some activities that are not good? It comes to show even in their aura. That is because negative spirits, the more you accumulate and entertain them inside your life, they will always manifest in your physical appearance. That is why some people who have taken the action to cleanse themselves from all the deeds and follow the right path of their spirit, you will see them glow, right? You can see them glow, and you can see they're happy and they have some sort of inner peace. So spirits generally, the more you entertain them in your life, the more they have a grip on you. And so it's advisable to get bad spirits out of your life as soon as you can. Some of the signs could manifest through family. Some families may have tendencies to manifest some form of suffering from one person to another, and if you look even in your life, you'll find some tendencies that are common among your family members. And before I forget, some spirits are attached to you simply because of your nature as a man or a woman, and that is where we have spiritual husbands and wives. You've heard that common term. These are simply cunning spirits that take advantage of our sexual nature, and then they come to attack us in the middle of the night and cause sexual thoughts in an attempt, just to have sexual intercourse with us, because sexual intercourse is not simply physical. You can have spiritual sexual intercourse, and it will have an impact if you have sexual intercourse with spirits. Now, this also gets me into something interesting, that sometimes the influence that spirits takes into our lives come through dreams. So sometimes you might wake up and you feel abnormal. That might be because you had a spiritual encounter and this left an impact on you, and you just feel weird, your energy is off. Another way a spirit could temporarily attach itself to you and you become a host is through the things that we watch or the things that we listen to. Anything that excites the sense can invite a spirit into your life, either temporarily or permanently. So that is why things like pornography should be highly avoided, because you are attracting a spirit, a sexual spirit for that matter. And sexual spirits, these are the most cunning, these are the most ruthless, and in the end, they're the most destructive. So if you are in the habit of watching pornography, my advice is that try to quit that as soon as you can, because it's having an influence in your life. Now, as I'm about to finish, let me talk about how to cut off the influence of a spirit or spirits, either one that is attached to you temporarily or permanently, or just the ones that are hovering around and want to cause you depression and so forth. So the first and most obvious thing is to change your vibration. And your vibration, you change it by the types of food you eat, the type of thoughts you entertain, and just generally your lifestyle. If you change it, then you change your vibration, and that way spirits of low nature, they don't have a grip on you. If you're having things like nightmares more often, and you're just more fearful, you just want to get rid of this, then try leaving things like alcohol and also foods like meat. These tend to attract spirits, and this is why, for example, in monks or people who are deeply into spirituality, they sometimes quit meat, because meat sometimes it sets your passions on fire, and you're likely to fall into temptations, and you're also likely to attract entities when you're consuming so much meat. But sometimes some of these scary spirits come down as a result of celestial bodies moving. You will find that the horrible dreams are most common during some phases of the moon. Just watch keenly, you will see that during some phases of the moon, you're more likely to have insomnia, and also you're more likely to have sexual dreams. And in one of the religions, I love listening to stuff from different religions, they say that at certain times, the gates of hell are opened so that evil spirits can come and torment those who are not prayerful, right? Anyway, my point is create a healthy lifestyle that nourishes your spirit. And another way to cut off the influence of a spirit in your life is by ignoring them. Spirits hate when they're doing something to you and you're ignoring them, all right? They're putting seeds of depression and anxiety, or they're telling you something false about someone, and you simply ignore that information and let it pass like it hasn't touched you. And that is one of the best ways of cutting off an influence of a spirit. Eventually it loses its power and it leaves you alone. Another way of cutting off the influence of a spirit is by fasting and also celibacy, all right? Those two things, fasting and celibacy, those things will starve off and clear off spirits from your body, especially negative spirits attached to your life, or those that are generational, all right? They have stuck with you for the most part of your life. Fasting and celibacy can really help to clear them. And another way is through prayer. Prayer means setting your intentions and declaring your intentions as well. Regardless of what religious or non-religious denomination you belong, a prayer is a powerful thing and can help to cut off the influence of a spirit. When you rebuke a spirit and say that it does not belong into your life, then you're practicing your free will, and that spirit does not have power over you. And another way is through visualization. If you feel some energies are stuck into you, all right, imagine yourself using your hands and clearing, for example, if it's your heart or your mind that you feel is clogged, just feel yourself clearing it and putting it in a bunch and then throwing it off into a flame, an eternal flame that destroys it forever. That is a visualization technique. And also you can visualize a bubble around you of protection. That is, if you feel some sort of presence is attaching itself to you, visualize a bubble around you that is protecting you. It's like you're protecting your psychic field from this foreign influence. But the bottom line, understand the enemy's tool, which is fear. Don't give in to fear, because nothing can ever happen to you without your consent. Now, that is it for now. Obviously, I'm going to do more videos like this. So be sure to like, to subscribe if you have not, and also put a comment in down there, because that helps to push this content. Thank you, and I hope you have a great time.